So my internet was down all day yesterday because apparently someone cut a cable somewhere and it took out Comcast all over town. Which meant, of course, I couldn't do any research for a new video, but also my friend couldn't log into Zoom to take her midterm, and my other friend couldn't teach his class, and my family couldn't work, and with everybody at home, the internet is just so much more important than ever, and idiots are still freaking out there digging around and accidentally taking out vitally important services. Like, this should not be happening. Isn't America, supposedly a developed country? It just seems like the system we've got going on right now is really dumb. Like, when I lived in an apartment building in college, I was getting upwards of 20 or 30 networks showing up on my devices. And yet, when I went to ask around if anyone wanted to share the cost of Wi-Fi with me, nobody was interested, all locked into their own contracts and whatever. So we've got buildings full of hundreds of apartments, all with their own routers.
And I don't even want to think about how much freaking plastic is used to make all of those.
But then when I lived in the dorms, everyone just shared university Wi-Fi, and it was no fuss at all. The internet is critical to education and healthcare and security and communication and pretty much every industry and workplace and job. And yet, an estimated 90 million Americans don't have access to high-speed internet. Due to the pandemic, internet service providers like Comcast have kind of recognized this reality and relaxed data restrictions, made certain services free, suspended disconnections, hooked up new customers. And these actions just really highlight the need for widespread access that is indiscriminate of economic status.
Hello, net neutrality.
And meanwhile, while I'm out here ranting about the internet, there are communities, particularly Native American communities, that don't have reliable running water and electricity in America. Speaking of Native Americans, due to their high rates of poverty and diabetes and cramped living conditions, the coronavirus is taking a particularly large toll on their communities. There was a cute story, though, the other day about a tribe, the Choctaw tribe, which sent $170 to the Irish during the potato famine. And now the Irish people are repaying that kindness, having raised more than $1.8 million for clean water and food and healthcare supplies. So that's kind of cute and fun. While I'm ranting, can we also talk about all these rich people raising money for pandemic relief funds, selling wine and merch and stuff, using their huge followings to plug charities? I'm not saying their intentions aren't good and you shouldn't buy their things if you wanna, but 26 million Americans have applied for unemployment benefits. Meanwhile, they're sitting in their mansions pouring CO2 into the atmosphere on their private jets, practically swimming in money. And they're asking us to donate? I think it's a few hundred people maybe in America that own more than half of the country's wealth. I feel like they should be responsible for donating at least half of what relief charities need. I don't know. I don't know what's their fair share, and I could mull this over for much longer and have a more concrete set of thoughts. But really, I just am irritated. I don't need to see more rich people asking me for money. That's all. In other news, last week I decided it would be fun to camp out in the backyard for a little while, and I filmed some time lapses of me setting it up. So enjoy that while I squeeze in one last rant about weeds. The other day, a neighbor came by and told us to pull up the pretty purple flowers that popped up in our front yard because they were weeds. And yeah, I don't want to be ruining other people's landscaping and gardening efforts and whatever, but weeds just get so much unnecessary hate. Did you know that early colonists loved dandelions because it was a super easy to grow source of salad greens? Dandelion salad was also really popular during the Great Depression. Dandelions are also great nitrogen fixers, and their deep taproots can help break up hard soils. Clover's also generally considered a weed, but also great at fixing nitrogen. Weeds can do so many beneficial things like attract pollinators and other beneficial insects. They can protect crops by creating barriers that pests can't cross. They can create a living mulch, which helps keep the soil moist and protects soil microbes from the sun. Lots of weeds have medicinal uses. I don't know. Weeds are not a taxonomical category, but a social construct. We decide which plants are deemed bad, and a lot of the traits we consider bad are kind of our fault. Like, for example, invasive species are just plants that had natural limits in their native region, but when taken to a new place that doesn't have the same constraints, they take off. It's not the plant's fault, it's our fault. All these plants are just out here getting a bad rap for doing what they were made to do. I hope you enjoyed this ill-prepared series of rants brought to you by an internet outage. Feel free to give this video a like, follow me on Instagram, check out my other videos. Until next time.